Good morning, and good morning to those online. I'm Amy Brenner, and my husband Tim, my son Ben, and I have been members of First Church for the last 9 years. Today, I'm going to share my story about the helping hands in First Church who lifted my family up during some of our darkest days. The year was 2013. I was 38, happily married, and pregnant with my first child. My nickname was Amy Ray of Sunshine, and life was half full. And then suddenly, it wasn't. On April 13th, 2013, my son Ben was born 3 months too soon. His lungs weren't fully developed, so his doctor needed to resuscitate him twice. When they wheeled him past me on the way to the neonatal intensive care unit, or NICU for short, I was worried he wouldn't be fully formed because he was only 27 weeks. But he was perfect. A mere 2 pounds, 8 ounces, but absolutely perfect. A couple days later was Marathon Monday. Those of you living in Boston in 2013 probably remember where you were when the bombs went off at the finish line. My phone started blowing up with texts from friends asking if I was okay. Had I been down by the finish line? Well, I'm not really okay, but I wasn't at the marathon. The phrase Boston Strong was born that day, and so was Benjamin Strong. These anthems, one for my city and one for my family, gave us the strength to get through the trauma. The world was cheering us on, sending positive vibes to Boston. I knew Ben would thrive. How could he not? By day 74, after 2.5 very long months in the NICU, Ben was ready to come home. The afternoon of June 25th, we finally walked into our apartment with him. I remember thinking, it's so quiet. No machines, no alarms, no wires, just the three of us, ready to start our life together. Instead, the daily fever started. My daily fevers. You're probably thinking, where'd those come from? Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Ultimately, the doctors diagnosed me with endocarditis, a serious heart infection that had attacked my abnormal mitral valve. Yes, abnormal. Turns out I had a heart defect. Who knew? Back to the hospital we went, but this time I was the patient. By early September, the infection was gone, but the damage to my heart had been done. I would need open heart surgery to fix the valve. Ugh, this is what's next? No. I'm supposed to finish my maternity leave, go back to work, and begin this normal life thing. I knew that the surgery would be rough, but what felt more daunting to me was not being able to hold Ben for 3 months. Doctor's orders. No lifting anything over 10 pounds. Guess how much he weighed at the time? 13 pounds. So close. We were so close. On the day of surgery in late September, the doctor successfully replaced my mitral valve. Now came the hard part, recovering from having your rib cage opened and sewn back together with an 8-inch scar to prove it. Doing simple things like getting out of bed and washing my hair were excruciating. My husband Tim stepped up in a huge way. Most days, he played the role of both mom and dad, including taking on the 3 a.m. feeding. The love surrounding me kept me going, along with the anticipation of holding Ben again. The year is now 2022. I'm 47, still happily married, and the proud mom of an amazing 9-year-old. In the end, our survival had very little to do with the doctors. I gave everything I had to keep Ben alive, and he and Tim gave me everything to live for. So what does all this have to do with stewardship? For me, stewardship is about remembering all that we overcame in 2013. It's about giving thanks for the helping hands of First Church. Giving thanks for the cards I received from Perry Neubauer, Jenny Stewart, if you're listening online, and many others. Giving thanks for the home-cooked meals I received from Meredith Quinn, Barbara Hume, and many others. Giving thanks for the numerous loads of laundry done by Susie Neubauer. Giving thanks for Dan Smith's visits to the hospital. He held my hand hours before Ben was born and said a prayer with me. And he sat with Tim as we waited for news that I made it through open heart surgery. And giving thanks for the 9 months our family had a permanent spot in the prayer section of our bulletin. And last, but of course not least, giving thanks to all of you and all of you online who lifted us up in love and light during that time. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. As you think about lending your helping hands to this year's stewardship campaign, I ask you to remember all of the amazing ways First Church helps you, your friends and family, and our broader community. For me, the belief of something bigger than myself is the light that brightens the dark days. Together, we can be part of brighter days ahead. So please pledge your support by filling out one of these pledge cards, which should be in your pews or maybe in the back there. You can also scan the QR code in the bulletin to pledge online. Go ahead, you can do it right now if you want. Tim's gonna do it right now. Remember, receiving your pledges before November 20th, which is next Sunday, allows First Church to make faithful and prudent financial decisions in 2023. Thank you in advance for your pledge and for listening to my story.